Hello, everyone. This is my PetchaKucha on Gertrude Stein, an almost controversial woman known for her incredible impact on literature and art, and one of her famous poems, Picasso, named after the popular artist Pablo Picasso. She was and still is honored by writers and artists today. Gertrude Stein was born on February 3rd, 1874, in Allegheny, Pennsylvania, which is a district that neighbors Pittsburgh. Her parents are Daniel Stein and Amelia Stein. Unfortunately, Amelia Stein died when Gertrude was only 14, and her father soon after when she was 17. Some people say that this started the chain of events that led to her fame. After their parents died, Gertrude and her brother Leo Stein became an inseparable pair. They started traveling everywhere they needed to together. Leo went to Harvard in 1893, so Gertrude went to the Harvard Annex, renamed to Radcliffe College from 1893 to 1897. Gertrude would also attend Johns Hopkins Medical School in the fall of 1987. When she attended Radcliffe College, Gertrude published two research papers in the Harvard Psychological Review. Overall, she spent 8 years in college, unfortunately not earning a degree in either, but still got ample practice with writing. She mostly self-taught and got coaching from peers later in life from something I will talk about in the upcoming slides. While Gertrude and Leo traveled many places in America, she met a woman named Alice Toklas, the most important woman in Gertrude's life, for they would be lovers and work partners. Toklas became Stein's secretary, and Gertrude would end up writing a book on her as well, titled The Autobiography of Alice B. Toklas, which will be talked about more later. In 1903, Leo, Gertrude, and Alice all traveled to London and then Paris to follow Leo in his pursuit to continue art. While he was doing that, Gertrude could focus more on dedicating time to literature. Together, they bought an apartment space named 27 Rue de Fleuras, a crucial location for Stein's career. 27 de Fleros could seriously be titled the catalyst of Stein's career. What started as a house became a salon for many soon-to-be famous artists and writers to come and collaborate in. Artists like Ezra Pound, Pablo Picasso, and Guillaume Apollinaire, and writers like F. Scott Fitzgerald, James Joyce, and Ernest Hemingway. Through her salon soirees, or gatherings, and speaking with artists, Stein fell in love with Cubism art, a form of paintings that plays with shapes in portraits. These works were deeply embodied by her literature works. Her first ever of this type, which was her second ever published piece, was named Tender Buttons. I'll take a second to analyze Tender Buttons because it's Stein's first work with her signature style. Note that the modern cover of the story has Cubism art. A quote from Poets.org reads, "In these small prose poems, images and phrases come together in often surprising ways, similar in manner to Cubist painting. Her writing is characterized by its use of words for their associations and sounds rather than their meanings." So how did Stein and Picasso become synonymous? Well, at the same time Stein was interested in Cubism, at the time of her soirees, Picasso was exploring it too. Both wanted to achieve similar goals through their art. Their work inspired each other as they are both expressing themselves for the same means. As I said in the last slide, both artists were going for the same means. W.G. Rogers in When This You See Remember Me, Gertrude Stein in person, he writes, "Both book and picture appeared and belong to, can't be removed from our time. That particular quality in them which is usually ridiculed, the disparate, the dispersed, the getting onto a horse and riding off in all directions, the atomization of their respective materials, the distorted vision, all that was not imagined but rather drawn out of their unique age. If the 20th century makes sense, so do Stein and Picasso." To break this quote down, he is firstly trying to slightly mimic Stein's style while delivering the message of Stein and Picasso. He's saying that they are using qualities of paintings and art that are ridiculed, and if citizens can make sense of the world they're living in, then they can figure out Stein and Picasso. And so Gertrude Stein would go to write a couple works about Picasso, one in particular being an extremely playful poem about him. It uses her signature complex and at times even weird grammar structures to speak about how powerful and creative Picasso was to her and to viewers of his art. A quote from Picasso reads, This one always had something being coming out of this one. This one was working. This one always had been working. This one was always having something that was coming out of this one that was a solid thing, a charming thing, a lovely thing, a perplexing thing, a disconcerting thing, a simple thing, a clear thing, a complicated thing, an interesting thing, a disturbing thing, a repellent thing, a very pretty thing. This one was one certainly being one having something coming out of him. This one was one whom some were following. This one was one who was working. As you can see, Stein is complimenting Picasso's work through various adjectives. She prior to this quote and at the last line speaks about his hard working ethic, and throughout the paragraph you can see the grammatical complicated structures. Literary criticizer Mark Schoker delivered a quote that really ties together Cubism and Stein, which states, "Her model now is Picasso in his Cubist phase, in her ambition, a literary plasticity divorced from narrative sequence and consequence, and hence from literary meaning. She was trying to just transform literature from a temporal into a purely spatial art, to use words for their own sake alone." The last piece of Stein's in this presentation is the autobiography of Alice B. Toklas. She wrote in the lens of her partner/girlfriend in the form of a typical novel. Because of her return to normal form, the average literature enjoyers ate it up. Unfortunately, her aforementioned experimental pieces like Picasso and Tender Buttons weren't the biggest hits compared to her pieces appealing to an average writing style. However, she became a sort of niche artist, appreciated by the true wizards of English craft. Throughout this slideshow, we've seen that Gertrude Stein used her art discipline of literature to display and explain what other artists like Picasso were trying to accomplish and showcase. This usually came in the form of playing with the respective art form. Stein died from cancer in 1946. However, she died as a figure for the LGBTQ community as an openly lesbian woman, and she especially left a mark on language and art by pushing boundaries on what was accepted. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you so much.